Hi, Virgidipedius again. I need a drink. My mouth is so dry, it's ridiculous. Don't seem to have any water here anymore. I've drunk it all. Oh well, please excuse me if I slur my words a little bit. My lips are starting to stick to my teeth because of the dry mouth from all of this medication. In any event, I had to stop because the nurse had just come in to give me another hydromorphone injection. But yeah, I was talking about religion. So, it seems to be a trait of human beings that somehow a belief in a higher power is important to them, uh, and it serves a number of functions. It helps people to feel individually that they can be in control of some of the things that are uncontrollable, like disease and natural disasters and wars and all of those things. And also, religion at its best can bring communities together and build uh, successful societies. Religion, at its worst, is bigoted and racist and makes wars against peoples of other religions just because they're not the same way as them. And now and more of that is happening because as our population grows and we have fewer and fewer resources, people are fighting over the few resources that are remaining. So I was talking to this nurse just now, who again I will not put on YouTube because that is an invasion of her privacy. But, she was saying that she is here. She is a woman of color. She is here because of the passion, because she cares about people and she wants to help people and she wants to make them feel good as possible and to thrive. And that is with all of the nurses here, every single one of them, and all the PSWs, down to the maintenance staff who keep our residences clean. All of them. They are here to serve the people, and that is an altruistic calling. And some of the best people, um, not some, all the best people have that altruistic calling. And one of the Hindu swamis from the turn of the 19th century uh, used to say, religion, service to your fellow human being is the highest religion. And these frontline workers instinctively feel that. They don't believe it, they feel it. They feel it strongly. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here because their pay is horrible, the working conditions are horrible, but they do the best they can to help all of us who are in these uh, intolerable situations. So, one of the reasons I'm doing this is to help them and to stop that social injustice that people who are of a different color, who have an accent, who come from another country, are not treated nearly as well as white Canadians who have been here for generations. And I was just explaining to this lovely black nurse, she's beautiful in so many ways. She's physically beautiful. Her mind, her intelligence is beautiful. Her compassion is beautiful. Her sense of humor is beautiful. Her ability to keep a level head is beautiful. She's just beautiful inside and out, every which way, in all three or four dimensions. Just a fantastic woman. And they're all like that, all of them, whether they come from Azerbaijan or Turkey or Mongolia or Tibet, um, all of them. So um, I, as I said, I'm a Hindu because I believe that the aside from radical Hindus, there are radicals in every religion, but the mainstream Hindus are very tolerant. Hinduism itself is a multifaceted religion. From the top of the Indian subcontinent to the bottom of the Indian subcontinent, we all believe slightly different things. But the main belief that holds us together is the Vedas, the Rig Veda, the Atharva Veda, I can't remember all the names of the Vedas. I think there are 5 of them. Uh, and the Ayurveda, and anyway, all of those ancient scriptures, which go back to at least 5,000 years ago, and they they understand the cosmos. They understand, at least the people who wrote the Vedas. Uh, we as Hindus don't understand all of that. None of us, not none of us, but the majority of us are not uh, that knowledgeable. The same way that other people of other religions are not that knowledgeable about cosmology and the way the universe functions. We have we have experts in the field who can explain it all. For example, Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson come to mind. And so there are a lot of uh, religious slash scientists in the Hindu religion going back to many millennia who understand these things and who have an oral tradition. And that oral tradition, because it is set up so strictly with in rhyme, and because of that, in order to maintain the structure of the recitation, you have to say the right words. They cannot be altered the same way a written document can be altered. You just destroy the original one and you change it a little bit, and then the new one becomes gospel, which happened starting 400 years after the death of Christ, when a committee of people got together in Constantinople and developed a Nicene Creed and developed and decided which books belong in the Bible and which books don't. So that's all man-made and is constantly being adjusted and polluted by the many different versions of the Bible, different translations of the Bible that we have now. So um, I believe I believe that there is a higher power. I don't fully understand it. I believe in karma. I believe in reincarnation. There are some children who, at a young age, still, for a brief time, remember a previous life. As I said, we were brought up as evangelical Lutherans in the German tradition. And once, when my brother was 3 years old, he said to me, "Tell me about the time, what it was like when I was a girl." So where would he come up with this idea? Unless unless he imagined or thought that there was a previous life that where he was a girl. Now you can't discuss philosophy with this young 3-year-old, and I was only 8 years old myself. So and I didn't know anything about Hinduism at the time. I just said, "I don't think there was a time when you were a girl." I said, "I think you were always a boy." But it's very interesting that he came up with this question, and we never talked about reincarnation at home. We hardly ever talked about our own religion at home, never mind anybody else's. But I think that in its best and truest form, religion is a force for good. As I said, there are many ways to worship in the many Hindu traditions. They are dependent on local cultures and they vary a lot. But what we say is it doesn't matter who you pray to as long as you pray. So that's the important thing. But when you look at the troubles in Ireland, the constant fighting in the Civil War in Ireland and Northern Ireland, and the fact that it still bubbles just beneath the surface, and the Islamic and Jewish tensions that are still causing havoc in the whole world, and all of these things. Religion is a strong force for evil as well. So one of the differences between the Abrahamic religions and the religions of the East is that Abrahamic religions believe that we were born in sin. Now, procreation is not a sin. Uh, maybe maybe what's the word for it? I can't think of the word for it right now. But oh gosh, I hate it when that happens. But oh gosh, I'll think of the word later. But um, when you look at the innocence of a baby, now how can that be anything but innocent? It is helpless. It is so cute. It was meant to be cute so that we would look after it in its innocence and helplessness. And it's only later, um, you know, maybe after its first year, when it starts to see what goes on in the world and experiences hurt and and sometimes gets angry because its needs aren't being met, uh, that it starts to exhibit some negative behaviors. But in Hinduism, we believe that that is like uh, those behaviors are like dust on a pure, shining mirror that reflects nothing but goodness, but the dust of these behaviors caused by life experiences um, have become a film over that pure mirror. And it is our job in our lifetime to clear the dust off of that mirror and become more compassionate and more honest and no, not so vengeful, and train ourselves not to become angry, not to become fearful, not to act out of anger and fear. So that's sort of my diatribe on religion. So yeah, you can see I'm wearing 3 strings of beads. One is the seeds of the Rudraksh tree, which Rudraksha was uh, the original name of Shiva, and over the centuries, uh, his name evolved to Shiva, and these are called seeds are called tears of Shiva, tears of Rudra. So tears of Rudra are these little seeds, and they're like pine cone seeds, and that pine cones, some of them are very tiny, and there are some trees that grow cones almost a foot long, and these come in different sizes as well. And then I have a jade string of beads and an amethyst string of beads. and all of them have 108 beads and one turning bead. And you say your mantra, or as we might call it in English, a prayer, 108 times, and that helps you discipline your mind, and it causes you to focus on one thing, namely God. And it trains your mind, it disciplines you, and it brings you to some level of peace. So, especially now, when I'm in this particular situation, I need all the peace I can get. So I wear these to remind me, and I also use them to say a number of mantras, 108 times, and I do that several times a day. And your guru needs to share a mantra with you, although you can find mantras on the internet and see which one resonates with you. But I'm I'm roughly about 17 days from my uh, the procedure for medically assistance in dying. There's the last document that I need to have signed and witnessed and signed, uh, which which will be done on Tuesday. And after that, uh, it'll take some time to get all the people together who have to do this. There are, I think, two or three medical professionals that have to be here in order to perform that. And I'm not going to. The administrator of this residence wanted to be here with me when they did that, but I don't want anybody to be here. I want to go peacefully. I don't want anybody to cry. I don't want there to be any uh, expression of any emotion. And I don't want to break down and cry, for heaven's sake. You know, dying is a tough decision to make, and I have to die while I'm still able to be able to give that consent. You know, the last consent before they actually start injecting the medication. And what I'm going to do is I have to fast before they give you the medication, because the same way as when you're given an anesthetic, uh, the medication can uh, upset your stomach and you may throw up, and you certainly don't want to have that happen. So I have to fast before. So I'm going to fast a little longer. I'm going to fast the day before as well, not just the night before, but completely the day before. And I'm going to have a bath. I'm going to put some makeup on. I'm going to wear a dress that I've chosen for the occasion, which I have never worn before. And my friends and loved ones will come in and say goodbye to me before the procedure, and then they will wait in a room somewhere in this building until the doctor comes and tells them that the procedure was successful. But during that time of fasting and cleansing, I want to cleanse my mind as well, so I will be constantly saying these mantras uh, to uh, to clear my mind of any last vestige of dust, and to make myself as pure and innocent as possible, to have no negative thoughts, to be ready to be merged into the Paramatma, or the complete perfect soul that encompasses all the souls of the world. And that's what I believe. A lot of people might not agree with me. That's fine. I have come to this belief over many years of study in comparative religion and science and physics and quantum physics and all of that. And it seems reasonable to me. So I'm I'm unfortunate in that I don't have a lot of time left, but I am fortunate for the same reason is that I no longer have anything to fear. There is nothing that anybody could do to me now that would be as much torture as I feel when I have a pain breakthrough. And if they want to do that to me, I mean, I've suffered these pain breakthroughs for hours and hours at a time already. I know I can get through them. And if they want to listen to me yell and scream and scare the whole floor of this building and scare the poor residents and have them complain to their have the residents complain to their loved ones about all the screaming that's going on here, let them go to town. Because although it's painful, although it's, if you've ever watched any movies where people are being tortured and you hear them scream and you see what's being done to them, that's exactly what it's like. But I'm strong enough to handle it. As I said, I've handled it many times before. And, with pain, eventually, if it becomes too unbearable, your body will just shut down anyway. So, and you won't feel it anymore. So that's kind of ending on a nasty note in a way. But I'm slowly getting to set my mind at peace and stop thinking about earthly things. Stop wondering where this possession is or that possession is, because right now I no longer have any need for them already. I have a need for basic things. I need to keep myself healthy as possible, so I still make sure that my diet is as healthy as possible. I get enough protein because I have a condition where my skin peels off, and if I get enough protein, then that helps heal the skin. I have pressure wounds, and protein helps heal the skin there. So and my hair, has a lot of it has fallen out. I've always had fine hair, but I used to have a lot of fine hair, and now it's very thin, but it's not falling out as much as it used to. So that and vitamins and minerals. I have an app where I record everything that I eat, and then I supplement with vitamins and minerals to make sure that I get everything, because I have this work to do. So thank you very much for listening, and I wish for all the world for people to be kinder to each other and to put themselves in the place of others, because there for the grace of God go I. And that is absolutely true. We were all black. All us white people were originally black when we came out of Africa, and we migrated to the northern regions of this world. We were black. Think about that. And the reason we became white over the generations was because of the angle of the sun. We needed more vitamin D, so those people who had lighter skin and who could absorb more vitamin D survived better than those people who were dark and couldn't absorb that much. And it was a balance between being light enough and being too dark, because the darkness prevented us from absorbing the sufficient amount of vitamin D. So that's all it is. It's a reaction of the skin. It's an evolutionary reaction of survival of the fittest, where people who are light skinned survive better in uh, in northern climes than people who are dark skinned, and people who are dark skinned survive better in equatorial climes because they don't get the sunburn and sunstroke as severely as white people do in those regions. And that is the only difference. It's the difference between a black German Shepherd and a white German Shepherd. You might find a black German Shepherd more attractive. Some people might find a white German Shepherd more attractive, but they're all the same dog. Absolutely, in every which way, in all the continuums of the senses, hearing, smell, taste, and the ability to run, and the ability to hunt, and the ability for compassion. Dogs have a lot of compassion, as anyone who has a dog will surely let you know. And that's all it is. It's a cosmetic change. And we fight these wars. We trample down these people for what? I don't know. I don't understand it. My mother always used to say the world will be a better place if we all intermingle and we all become a nice milk chocolate milk brown, or whatever color. But uh, with all the segregation and all the hatred and bigotry, that's not about to happen. So, in any event, I don't know. I myself decided a long time ago not to have any children because we are polluting this planet. We are like a cancer on this planet. We are like cockroaches and like locusts. 8 billion of us, uh, scrambling for that last morsel of food, for that last drop of clean water. And when that's all gone, the earth will become a vast desert. And it's starting now with fire and floods, and more fire and more floods, and zombie uh, fires that hide underneath the permafrost because it's just warm enough to keep them smoldering in the peat moss until the air gets warmer, and the polar regions are getting warmer than any other part in the world. So these fires smolder underneath the permafrost, and then they come up again in the summertime when it's warm, and they destroy everything in their path. And there's nothing we can do about that. We cannot put out every last one of those fibers. So that's why we're in this mess. We have to stop following the Pope, who gives prizes to women who have umpteen dozen children, and who ruin their health by doing that, and they ruin their children's future because they can't afford to feed them properly. They can't afford to educate them, and I guess that's all in the so-called elite corporate world. It's all a conspiracy, shall I say, to get people to be downtrodden, uh, to not be educated, to not understand what's really going on, to believe in their priest and believe in their pope, even though they rape little boys and girls. And it's not just little boys that they rape. Uh, when I was in my 20s, I was working in a company where I met a young uh, Italian woman who told me that when she was 14, and the priest would come to their house and give her confirmation or was it communion, whatever, lessons. And he was the only one in the house with her. She was a little girl of 14, and he raped her. And she told her parents. And her parents didn't even believe her. This is how much they are brainwashed. They accused her of seducing that priest. I mean, really. A 14-year-old girl seducing a 30-year-old priest? I don't think so. She wouldn't know where to start. But when I was 14, I knew nothing about sex. I knew nothing about love. I knew nothing about lust. Uh, you know, I was reading books like Little Women, and it's just not possible. So, yes, they're rapists, and they control people by making them believe in superstitions that they have to donate so much money to the church. And look at the wealth of the church. If they, they can't even, not they can't, they won't even come up with the money to compensate those poor indigenous people who were sent to these schools and who were tortured and killed. And they tried to kill their society and their culture through cultural genocide. None of that is going to be collected by these poor indigenous people. And I mean poor in the proper sense of the word. Poor as in no money, no way to live properly, no clean water to drink, no food to eat that isn't polluted, no clothing, no warm clothing, nothing. You ever gone up there and looked at how these Indians live? Sorry, I'm calling them Indians, but that's sort of been my habit over the years. I don't know what the latest politically correct word is to call them, but I guess I would call them indigenous. And that is not long enough to. I will show you how to play that instrument. Wow. You see, I'm getting very tired, and I think I'm going to have to stop now. So, bye for now, and please try and help these people, these immigrants of color, who are the most beautiful, compassionate, and dedicated people you would ever want to meet. All they want to do is help people, and and at the same time earn a decent, respectful living, a living that provides them with the dignity that every human being deserves. That's all they want, and they deserve it. They really do. And all of these uh, corporate idiots, corporate nasty, selfish people. The only difference between them and Trump is that they're a little bit more intelligent and they hide it well. But they won't. What do they do with all those millions and billions of dollars? What do they do? Who needs that much? You know, they are responsible since they have collected all this money. I won't say earned, collected all this money on the by standing on the backs and breaking the backs of people who want nothing but to serve their fellow human beings because they have suffered themselves and they know what suffering is like, and they want to relieve suffering in others. Whereas these corporate devils, all they can see is the gold that as it slips through their fingers. You know, like what's his name? Can't think of his name right now. In that Charles Dickens novel, Anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. And I'll probably make another video or two before I die. And I'll talk to you soon.